Good day, Professor. Today, Group 4 will be presenting 996 work culture versus Tangping. Here's a quick overview of our presentation structure. Sections 1 to 3 explains and analyzes our content in detail, emphasizing it as a cause and effect relationship. Sections 4 to 6 breaks down the ethical issues identified and provides solutions. And lastly, we will end off with a summary. Before we begin, let me introduce our characters for today. Each of them will represent stakeholder perspectives at different levels. Eeyore is a junior software engineer at ByteSend Technologies. He represents employees. Tigger is an experienced senior director at the same company. He represents senior managers of tech companies. Winnie is a minister in charge of manpower policies locally. He represents the government. And so we begin. First, what is 996 and Tangping? 996 is a work schedule where employees work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, and this mainly targets tech workers. This phenomenon arose amidst China's strong economic growth over the past decade, bringing about a surge in middle-class workers and fueling the growth of tech industries. However, as the market becomes increasingly saturated, local competition intensifies. In response to compressing margins, tech companies started to implement a 996 work regime to drive productivity and innovation. It comes at a cost to employees as they are pushed over and beyond their limits, and as a result, many workers are accusing tech companies of exploitation and unethical practices, demanding a better working environment. Rejecting the 996 regime, some employees choose to Tangping, which loosely translates to lying flat. It is an outright rejection of the rat race by doing only the bare minimum at work. Essentially, Tangping is a form of giving up. These employees voluntarily forego prospects for career advancement and would rather prioritize a simpler, less materialistic life. Tangping became widely known in the early days of COVID-19 pandemic through the 996.ICU movement, a protest against the harsh demands of tech industry. It likens the 996 work culture to a pathway to the ICU. Eeyore agrees. Next, analysis of the 996 working culture. China's 996 working culture is deeply influenced by traditional cultural values rooted in Confucianism, which emphasizes loyalty, diligence, and collective responsibility. In a Confucian context, long working hours are seen as a demonstration of dedication and respect for authority, aligning personal effort with the company's success. Chinese tech firms leverage these values, cultivating a duty to support organizational goals and shared achievements. Hence, this work ethic, combined with a collective mindset, encourages workers to accept long hours as part of achieving both personal and national success, making it a widely accepted norm in China's competitive tech landscape. To cultivate a 996 working culture, firms like Tigger's company employ a mix of soft and hard tactics. Soft refers to hegemonic mechanisms to coerce employees to demonstrate desirable behaviors. Hard refers to despotic mechanisms to demand employee consent and act as mandated by the firm. The combination of these two mechanisms is at the center of the spectrum, hegemonic despotism. Hegemonic mechanisms are a form of normative control to encourage employees to align their interests with the firm's goals. This creates a conformist mindset that leaves little room for dissent, subtly coercing employees to adopt 996 working hours voluntarily. The notion of an ideal worker is also introduced, one that is willing to spend at least 72 hours a week on tasks and remains contactable to please his or her superiors. Generous incentives are also dished out to those who comply, including meal reimbursements past 8 p.m. and a sponsored taxi ride home. This fosters a culture that rewards long working hours. If hegemonic mechanisms are carrots, then despotic mechanisms are sticks. Despotic mechanisms blatantly stipulate overtime as a requirement, and Huawei is a prime example. New joiners were forced to sign an agreement to voluntarily give up their vacation leave and overtime pay. Worse, some employees constantly monitor employees inside and outside of work. There has been numerous cases of managers texting late at night to check if the employee is still working, and timers in restrooms to limit toilet usage. HR is also busy sharing employee data with other allied companies, filtering out employees before they even apply for a role. Next, the Tangping reaction. Tangping emerged as a response to the burnout and sense of futility felt by many workers in the 996 culture. Known in Chinese as 内卷 or involution, this feeling describes the pressure to work harder and constantly try and outperform one's peers with little to no meaningful progress. Some strive to outpace the competition, while others choose to Tangping. The trio's relationship is depicted in the flowchart, where 996 results in workers feeling a sense of 内卷, that then causes them to give up, or Tangping. Amidst the high pressures to excel, many employees have embraced Tangping. It is a sign that one has given up and represents a rejection of the corporate rat race. It is an indifferent attitude that prioritizes personal well-being over relentless ambition by adopting a less materialistic and low-desire philosophy. Tangping is about doing only what is minimally required in their roles, and although it is stigmatized as lazy in Chinese society, it isn't necessarily unproductive. Those who embrace Tangping seek respite from endless pursuit, and from their perspective, an unambitious lifestyle does not equate to a meaningless existence. In fact, it is to redefine success from a career-oriented perspective to a sustainable one. The Tangping movement thus highlights a call for balance and questions whether relentless growth should come at the expense of individual well-being.
Thank you, Joseph. I'll now cover the ethical issues of 996. The first ethical issue of the 996 culture is that it prioritizes profit over employee well-being, leading to burnout and a toxic workplace. The 996 culture coerces employees to accept working 72 hours a week, driven by an implicit understanding that they are replaceable. If an employee refuses to work 996, there's always someone else who will. This creates a cycle where employees feel forced to endure these extreme schedules just to stay competitive in the job market, even if it affects their health and personal life. From a libertarian perspective, 996 raises serious ethical concerns because it limits workers' autonomy. Although workers theoretically have the freedom to choose their employment, this freedom is compromised by their economic dependence on the job. For most, rejecting 996 isn't a viable option if they need to sustain a livelihood. This raises the question, at what cost should profits be pursued, and how can we create work environments that respect the productivity and dignity of employees? Analyzing the 996 culture, we consider the ethical mind, an impartial spectator of the world, versus a respectful mind, having the capacity to understand and form relationships with others. 996 allows for rapid innovation, positioning Chinese tech companies as global leaders, thus boosting economic growth and national competitiveness. Winnie, representing the government, strongly supports this. However, employees such as Eeyore suffer. Prolonged working hours can lead to high stress, burnout, decreased productivity, and serious health issues like heart disease and mental health problems. From a utilitarian perspective, the health cost to workers must be weighed against the economic benefits. Currently, the 996 culture overly prioritizes economic growth at the expense of workers' well-being, creating a toxic workplace environment that undermines individual dignity and health. The second issue of the 996 culture is that it exploits workers by bypassing labor rights, leading to unfair treatment. A tragic example of this exploitation occurred when a young employee at e-commerce giant Pinduoduo died after working a series of extreme overtime shifts. This case highlights how the 996 culture systematically neglects labor rights, creating conditions where fair treatment and personal well-being are disregarded. From an egalitarian perspective, every member of society deserves fair treatment and safe work environments, both of which are violated by many tech companies. The 996 system undermines this ideal by prioritizing company profit, effectively depriving workers of their right to personal boundaries and well-being. With limited time for family or rest, employees such as Eeyore lose the opportunity to engage meaningfully with their community and broader society. Ultimately, this raises an ethical question of how companies can balance profit with a commitment to fair and humane work conditions. Tiga that represents firms have the corporate social responsibility in ensuring that they do not cause harm, and one way to do so is by ensuring that they work their employees within legal working hours. The third ethical issue that the 996 culture reinforces is inequality, disadvantaging employees who cannot comply with the excessive work hours. While the 996 culture may offer some employees higher immediate financial rewards, it ultimately leads to burnout and a significant decrease in overall life satisfaction. This system tends to favor younger, physically resilient workers who can handle long hours and are willing to sacrifice personal and family time, putting employees with family commitments at a disadvantage. This creates a huge divide within the workforce. From a utilitarian perspective, while 996 may seem to maximize short-term productivity, it harms long-term societal well-being. On the other hand, an egalitarian view argues that companies have a responsibility to treat all employees fairly, rather than rewarding only those that cannot endure extreme work schedules. Moreover, the disparity in compensation highlights another layer of inequality, as high-level management benefits from worker sacrifices without proportionally sharing the rewards. This raises a crucial ethical question. How can organizations foster fairness and inclusivity to ensure that employees are valued and fairly compensated?
Moving on, we will now address the ethical issues concerning Tangping. The concept of Tangping represents a clear rejection of societal pressures to excel in fast-paced and high-stress environments. Older generations might view Tangping as laziness, while younger individuals see it as a healthy alternative to the grueling 996 culture. However, those who adopt Tangping often face societal criticism and may experience feelings of isolation and stigma. Taking a utilitarian perspective, we could argue that encouraging acceptance of Tangping might improve well-being for those prioritizing mental health over traditional success metrics. Both the companies and the society as a whole can benefit from policies that validate a diverse definitions of success, potentially leading to higher collective satisfaction. For example, Eo, who was exhausted and sad from working long hours, will now have better mental health and become happier. From a deontological perspective, critiquing individuals who choose Tangping may infringe on their right to autonomy and self-determination. Respecting these rights foster a more inclusive society where different lifestyles can coexist without fear of judgment or discrimination. Then, we have virtue ethics. By nurturing these virtues like empathy, respect, and open-mindedness, people across generations can have constructive and respectful conversations about work ethics and personal fulfillment without resorting to judgment or stereotyping. This raises an important ethical question. How can an environment that respects diverse choices and bridge general divides be created? Next, while Tangping offers temporary relief for individuals overwhelmed by societal expectations, its long-term impact on mental health could lead to societal harm. From a utilitarian perspective, while this lifestyle may reduce stress in the short term, neglecting underlying mental health issues could ultimately harm both individuals like EO and the society in the long run. On the other hand, a deontological view holds that the society has a duty to support mental well-being and protect EO's rights to seek help without stigma. Virtue ethics emphasizes that fostering virtues can help create an environment where mental health is openly discussed and respected, reducing the risk of trivializing serious concerns. This too raises an important question. How can we balance the appeal of Tangping with a responsible approach to mental health? Lastly, as China strives to transition to a high-income economy, the Tangping movement presents a challenge by potentially slowing down economic growth, hindering efforts to escape the middle-income trap. From a utilitarian perspective, although Tangping may increase individual satisfaction for EO, the resulting decline in productivity could ultimately cause more harm than good to society. Deontologically, individuals have a duty to contribute to the well-being of society, which raises ethical questions about balancing personal autonomy with the collective need for economic advancement. This tension brings forward our last key question. How can society respect individual lifestyle choices while also encouraging contributions that support broader economic and societal goals?
As discussed earlier, both 996 work culture and Tangping has led to burnouts, decreased productivity, and even long-term health issues, ultimately affecting both employees and the organization. We then propose three possible solutions that can help alleviate the situation. Firstly, promoting work-life balance policies. Next would be the reinforcement of government intervention. Lastly, the presence of mental health wellness program to support mental health. Achieving a healthy work-life balance is challenging in today's fast-paced, high-pressure work environment, even more so in 996 work cultures. Companies should then implement policies promoting balance to enhance employee satisfaction, productivity, and efficiency, ultimately boosting output while reducing hours. For example, Volkswagen, the German automotive company, has a ban on out-of-work emails policy, enabling their employees to be less emotionally exhausted, providing the employees with the time they need to recharge as they leave their work, email, and the stress that comes with it in the office. Another example would be Google, a multinational technology company which demonstrated its commitment to a supportive work culture by providing its employees with the option of flexible work schedules as well as having reset days to support employee well-being during the pandemic. This level of autonomy allows employees to tailor their schedules to meet both work and personal demands, reducing stress and thereby enhancing job satisfaction. By fostering an organizational culture that prioritizes work-life balance, employee well-being, and mental health, these policies enhance the working condition of the 996 work environment. Furthermore, promoting work-life balance can lead to higher employee retention rates and reduced absenteeism, as employees are more motivated and committed to their roles, creating a work environment that respects productivity and dignity of employees, where EO will definitely enjoy. Promoting work-life balance also aligns to the triple bottom line, where initiatives such as flexible working hours and a supportive work environment would enhance employee satisfaction and reduce stress. Furthermore, while the implementation of work-life balance policies may be costly in the short run, financial performance in the company would increase due to increase in employee morale and productivity. Integrative model of CSR is also achieved as social and economic goals are fully integrated. Prioritizing work-life balance allows company to foster employee well-being, resulting in improved long-term productivity and loyalty, contributing to sustained profitability. In addition, a company promoting work-life balance demonstrates its commitment to prioritize the well-being of its employee, enhancing their reputation and potentially attracting investors who align themselves with responsible corporate behavior. On to government intervention. Establishing and strictly enforcing labor laws that cap working hours and prevent unpaid overtime plays a key role in shaping workplace norms. Such regulation not only clarify permissible practices within organizations, but also set a baseline for ethical conduct that companies must follow. With tragic incidents associated with the 996 work culture, the highest court and the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security has introduced overtime guidelines to create a legal framework that protect workers' rights and welfare. Routine orders are also in place, verifying compliance with these standards, with penalties in place for violation of labor rights. With the guidelines and audits, it marks a significant cultural shift in China's labor environment, especially in sectors where the demanding 996 culture is prevalent, ensuring fair labor practices and compensation for the employees. These protections shield employees like EO from exploitation, reduce burnout, and promote fair treatment, which in turn promote better working conditions, increasing productivity in the workplace.
Next, let's discuss our proposed solutions for supporting mental health in the workplace. In a 996 work culture, the demands of working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week may boost productivity in the short term, but this intense schedule often compromises employees' physical and mental well-being. When mental health declines, it can lead to physical issues, reduced work efficiency, and even strained family relationships. Addressing these challenges by prioritizing mental health can offer a way forward. Our first approach is to establish mental health awareness programs designed to create a workplace culture that normalizes conversations around mental well-being. By organizing workshops and training sessions, companies can equip employees with valuable self-care and stress management tools, whilst also educating them on the importance of mental health. Because mental illnesses are often stigmatized in many communities, these programs can help reduce the stigma, encouraging employees to seek help without fear of judgment. Our second solution involves implementing employee assistance programs, or in short, EAPs, which are voluntary work-based programs providing access to confidential counseling and psychological support. EAPs offer employees a safe space to discuss both personal and work-related issues, helping them manage their mental health. Studies have shown that EAP participants can significantly improve their productivity, with some regaining nearly 40 hours of work week productivity per month after beginning treatment. This also demonstrates the company's commitment to employee well-being, which is appealing to top talent. Together, these mental health support solutions in the form of awareness programs and EAPs offer a balanced approach to counter the pressures of a 996 work culture. In conclusion, the tension between the 996 work culture and the Tangping lifestyle presents ethical challenges in the modern Chinese society. The 996 model boasts productivity and success rate, but often sacrifices employee well-being, leading to burnouts and labor right concerns. In contrast, Tangping promotes personal happiness and work-life balance, challenging societal pressures for constant achievement. While Tangping supports individual well-being, it is, however, criticized, especially by older generations, for lacking ambition and responsibility. It also may not meet the productivity needs of a competitive economy like that of China's. Additionally, we would like to recap on some of the key issues regarding the 996 work culture and Tangping that was brought up previously. For the 996 work culture, it will be in the form of conforming to social pressure and employee well-being, followed by labor rights, and lastly, inequality. And as for Tangping, it is the rejection of social norms and generational divide, followed by mental health and well-being, and lastly, economic impact. Therefore, our group has come to the stance that these opposing perspectives emphasizes the need for a balanced approach that respects both profitability and employee welfare, as well as individual autonomy and social expectations. Together, they invite a re-examination of societal values to foster a more compassionate and inclusive future which fuels the economic growth of the country. Lastly, Winnie the Pooh and Pals would like to express their concluding thoughts. Considering these insights, our group recognizes the critical need to incorporate ethical frameworks into our understanding of the challenges posed by work cultures such as 996 and lifestyles such as Tangping. This effort explores cultural norms and organizational dynamics as well as varied perspectives of employers and employees. Upholding ethical standards mean analyzing situations through multiple ethical lenses, which is crucial for building a compassionate and inclusive workforce. By promoting practices that prioritize employee well-being and organizational interests, we can help create a healthier and more ethical work culture. And with that, we've come to the end of our presentation. Thank you. Settle.